Tuesday. Give ourselves a minute to get this party started. Can y'all believe it's 2022? Mind blown. Let's see, I have my comments pulled up on the computer, and I am going to block the video so that I'm not distracted by watching myself, but I can see your comments. I've been playing around with different ways to set up the tripod for these YouTube videos since I'm on my phone, and especially if I want to crochet, I want you guys to actually be able to see what I'm doing. And a lot of times it's too close up. So now I have the tripod pushed back on my desk and lifted up a little bit. I think it's going to work. We'll see. Happy Tuesday, Ellen, and Happy New Year to Lulia. Happy New Year. Very excited. Yeah, I wanted to talk a lot about ideas for 2022 today, because I feel like, you know, sometimes there's that concern when you start a business that you're going to burn out and feel like you don't have any more creativity to give, or you're out of ideas and there's that pressure to create. Especially I think in a situation like me and the captain, where, you know, I started off with patterns and then we started adding, you know, stickers and merchandise and hooks and tools. And so you get to this point where you're like, are we going to be able to come up with more stuff, you know, to release all the time? And I'm actually really excited because I have a lot of ideas for 2022 and things that I want to try. So I think if I hit a creative wall or a creative block, I have plenty of things that I can switch over and try that's going to be new. So I think that's going to be really fun. Let's see, we've got Terry and Derek and Ellen. Hello. I know I already said hey to Ellen. Ellen again, hey! And actually, I'm kind of wondering, as I'm looking at my tripod setup, I'm wondering if I should put it behind my computer, because now I'm going to be like looking over here at my computer. So let's see what we can do. Let's see what happens if I move this. Yes, Derek, I remembered you from talking to me on Etsy about the hooks. Just let me know. I'm super excited. We've done a lot of customs this year, and we love doing custom hooks because we get to work with you one-on-one to figure out what color you want and how you want them decorated. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Let's see. I figured it's worth a try, but you're going to be right in front of my computer. So I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, because you're going to have a computer screen. So many things to try. Yeah, I think I had it good the way that it was. Sorry, y'all. See, I should do this when I'm not on live, but I can't help it. I have to at least see what I'm working with. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back around and down. I think that's where it was. Let's see. Let's see if that's where it was. No, that's not where it was. And the door just came open. I think the cat pushed it open. Let's do that. I think that's right. Is that right? Yes. There we go. That's better. Okay. So we got 10 people here. Thank you. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you're here. Show the video some love if you would like to. And if you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. That's one of the things that I really want to focus on in 2022 are my videos, because I started putting videos out when we were at our old house. I found a really good rhythm. I had, you know, some goal videos. One of my biggest goals was getting my Learn to Crochet playlist completed on YouTube. And that got finished, which allowed me to start selling Learn to Crochet kits that are hand in hand with the playlist. So that was a big goal completed in 2021. And now I want to start releasing more tutorial videos on my YouTube channel. And one of the biggest things that I want to focus on for my tutorial videos is I want to help teach people to read patterns. So my big focus has been these, you know, pulling people in, teaching them to crochet, helping them learn the basics, and then giving them all these different patterns that they can choose from in my Etsy shop that are beginner friendly. But reading patterns can be that next big jump that's very difficult to get over. So you learn to crochet on YouTube. That doesn't mean you know how to read a pattern. So I think that my next goal is going to be to start printing out my patterns and then having the patterns sitting there on the table, reading them and doing what it says to do. So really making that connection from learning how to crochet to learning how to read basic patterns. So that's one of my big goals for YouTube for 2022. Other YouTube goals are going to be to start doing more reviews. So like yarn reviews specifically, because I am the super bulky person for yarn. I want to make sure that if I'm using a certain type of yarn a lot, that I have some kind of review on it on YouTube for anyone who's going around searching for super bulky yarn. And even if it's just like a bulk review of these are the different yarns I used this week or this month, and here's what I thought. So I don't know. That's kind of up in the air as well. Let's see. Everyone's saying Happy New Year. First time joining the chat. Hello from Canada. Hello there, Stephanie. Hi to Kathy. Ricola's Crochet Corner. I want to make your chunky overalls. Yes, so that was so funny making those overalls. That was my first time working in a partnership with Hobie Yarn. And they sent me this yarn and it was like, you can make whatever you want as long as it's bright colors. And if you guys know me, bright colors right up my alley. I said, great, let's try. It was the Hobby Bungee Mini yarn that is very much like Bernat Maker Home Deck yarn, which I've got some of that right here. I'll show you guys the difference. Let's see. Here is some Bungee Mini, and here is some Home Deck yarn. Okay, so we've got the Home Deck, which is actually one of my favorites for bralette patterns. I bought a whole bunch of this for me to make bralettes to wear around the house because this holds up and it holds its shape a lot better, in my opinion, than cotton. And this is actually a cotton nylon blend. So it has the little stretch of the nylon, but then it's got the cotton, so it's a little more breathable. This is a size 5, and I think I have 4 bralettes now made out of this, and it's like all I wear. I've got one on now, so you can see the strap. So these are the bralettes that I make with this. So this, like I said, this is the Bernat Maker, and then the Hobie Bungee Mini. This is what that looks like. It is a size 6, but it's structured very similarly. It's like this shoestring braided structure with like the polyfill on the inside. But this is a size 6. And like I said, it's from Hobie. And so this is what they sent me in a whole bunch of different colors. And I was like, what's something that I can make that's just totally out of the box that I haven't seen crocheted before? And I had seen a lot of like granny square overalls, but I'm not a huge fan of granny squares because I don't like having to sew all the pieces together. And so I decided, okay, I need to figure out how to do this and make a pair of overalls. So that was really fun. And then the testing experience for that was like mind-blowing, because trying to create a pattern that worked for tons of different body styles, something that is like a one piece, like overalls, I actually did a test that was kind of a crochet along test. So I would send out part of the pattern, get feedback on that, and then move forward with everybody getting feedback as I went. It was a very fluid type of test. And it was really fun because I got to work very closely with everyone that was helping me test. And that's a big part for me. My testers are part of my team. I mean, I wouldn't have successful patterns without them. And I think it's extremely helpful for them. I think it's more meaningful for them to be a part of a test when they feel like they're a part of that design and that I'm actually going to take their opinions into consideration for design changes and sizing changes. But I need that because I am only one body and I only know what fits me. So it's very helpful to have such a strong design team. Let's see. Terry has a question about one of the lines in the Trelawney pattern. Yeah, Terry, go ahead and let me know, and I can see if I can help. it's kind of hard for me to envision the lines of the pattern and stuff, so it may be something I'll have to look at outside of a live, but I can definitely try to answer that. What else do we have? I recently used Patton's Wendy with Wool Super Chunky. I'm going to look that up because I've never heard of that. And I have my computer right here, so we're going to put Wendy with Wool. Okay, yeah, that reminds me of Wool Ease Thick and Quick. That's kind of a Wool Ease Thick and Quick-esque because it's got the wool blend, but it's just like a simple wool. I like that. That's nice. Let's see, what else do we have? Make sure I get all of the questions. Always wanted to get overalls. Might as well give it a shot to crochet a pair. Exactly. And then you can, you know, kind of customize them and do what you want and make them fit. And I love, because it's wintertime, there were a lot of people when I wrote the pattern that it was still cold out for a lot of people, and they would layer it. So they would wear like tights or leggings, put their overalls on, have like a long sleeve shirt underneath, and layer over the overall shorts. And I thought it was really cute. I mean, if you're into looking different and funky and unique and you want to make a statement with your fashion, why not? You know, I think it's really fun. Let's see. Got a couple of people from Canada on the live. I don't think I could handle it. We had snow 2 days ago here in Alabama, so I am super south in the US, and I am not a snow person. I like the warm weather. It was nice to look at because we didn't get like snowed in. It did stick. We had about a little less than an inch that stuck on like our railings on our porch and stuff, but that was pretty much it. And like I said, good to look at, but not a cold weather person. Let's see. Have you used Premier Bloom yarn? I made a chunky rib scarf yesterday. So I'm pretty sure Premier Bloom, and let me double check, but I think that that's a size 5. And you may know because you just used it. That is one that I want to check out because they had some really pretty colors. But if I used it, I would probably double it up. So I would hold that double, so it'd be more of a size 6 since the majority of my patterns use a size 6 yarn. But it is really pretty. Yeah, it's a size 5. So, but there are a lot of really pretty colors. So I think that would be fun to use, but I would, oh, and that's cool. It like makes little flowers. I did not even notice that. That's really neat. Then that's Premier Bloom Chunky. Let's see. Okay, so Terry, for starting the sleeves, row 1 says to chain 1 and pick up 20 half double crochet stitches around the armhole and join into the first HDC with a slip stitch. So picking up stitches just means you're going to place those half double crochets around the armhole. And actually, I can kind of give you an example. Let's see. This is the cardigan that I've been working on. This is not my pattern. One of my goals for 2020 was to purchase some patterns made by fellow makers and follow them. For me, and especially I wanted to choose patterns that were using techniques that I have not yet created in my patterns. So this particular design, and you can go to my Instagram page. I shared a photo of it yesterday, and I have the Instagram page for the girl who did this. I think it's Capitana let me see. I don't want to just totally say that wrong. Let me pull it up, because then I'll tell you the name of it too. Okay, this one. Here we go. It is by Capitana Uncino Crochet. And this is her Nava jacket, Naava. It's a little short. I changed up the pattern. The pattern called for a size 6 and smaller hooks, and I used a size 5 and upped my hook size. So it kind of evened out, but it's shorter than hers. But I think that's fine. I wear a lot of stuff cropped, and I'll show this to you guys on in just a second. But if I were to pick up stitches, I would join. Now for all of my patterns, you join at the bottom of the armpit. So this is right here at the bottom of the armpit. You would join with like a slip stitch. So you would join into one of those spaces, and then you would chain one off of that slip stitch, and then you would place your half double crochets evenly around the armhole. So when it says to pick up the stitches, you're picking up stitches around the armhole like that. I hope that makes sense. That's how almost every single one of my cardigan patterns works, and that's usually the terminology that I use. But I hope that helps. And I probably, that's a video that I could do. I need to probably do that. But I think that will be part of the YouTube side of teaching people to read patterns. And I think I'm going to start with my Luna, because I don't have a video of a cardigan, and the Luna has become kind of a classic for people coming in and starting, you know, to make their first cardigan. So I may print out my Luna pattern and then do like a follow along, and that would help people understand some of that terminology a little bit better. Let's see. Such good ideas. Derek is in Houston. Yep, size 5. Ellen used Bloom for the Ludo sweater. Oh, I didn't realize that, Ellen. And you held it together, I'm sure. Held it double for that. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. You need to let me know, because you made a couple Ludos. So you need to let me know which one. Yes, she does. So Sarah, I'm pretty sure Sarah says that she has very nice scarves and garments, and I'm pretty sure you're talking about Capitana Uncino crochet, and she does. She had a lot of things. And the cool thing about this one, what I had not done, because like I said, I have purchased 3 patterns now for the new year for projects personally for me, that I am making with the goal of learning a new technique. So this is made using only slip stitches. So it does give it more of a knit look, because this is not knitting, this is crochet, but it's made using only slip stitches. Even the borders and this top part, this is all just slip stitching, which I thought was so cool. And the other thing about this one is that it's a top-down yoke style sweater, and I've never done one like that. So this pattern allowed me to learn 2 new techniques, which was exciting, because now my goal is to then create my own pattern utilizing either slip stitch as the main stitch for the pattern, because I think this is gorgeous, and I would love to create a pattern that has this same look to the stitching. And then I would also like at some point to create my own top-down yoke style sweater. So I'm excited to try this. So I'll show you guys what this looks like now that it is actually at a point where I can try it on. Because the last time I came on here, it was not at that point yet. Let's see. Terry says row 2 says place HDC. So row 1 and 2 are the same step. Does it make sense, Terry? Let me know, because if I made a mistake in the pattern, I can definitely take a look at it. All right, so let's see this on. All right. So this is what it looks like. And you use a smaller hook for the collar, and then I change to a larger hook for the body, and then you go back to the smaller hook for the bottom ribbing. But I think it looks pretty great. I'm excited about it. Because I changed up the hook size, the back was poking out a little bit. So I actually added some decreases right here to pull it back in, which is why it has that little bump. I think if you do it exactly following her directions and you don't change up the hook size or anything, you wouldn't have this. So I'm not knocking the pattern for that. That was my fault. But I'm going to add the sleeves next, and I think it's going to be super cute. I think it's what she is going for. It is a cropped jacket, like if you look at the picture on her Etsy, but I don't think it's this cropped, because like my belly button is down here. I think it's probably meant to be at least like down this far, but I used smaller yarn. So yeah, I like it. I think it's really pretty. And the yarn that I'm using, I'll show you guys. Let's see. So this is the yarn that I'm using. It's Noro brand, and it is their Curion Air. I don't know if I'm saying that, Curion Air, and it's 100% wool. It is a little scratchy. It is not merino wool. I got this on Webs, webs.com or yarn.com, I think is also Webs. But I think it's going to be great. Like, I wouldn't have been able to wear this directly on my skin because I am a little sensitive to wool. But I plan on layering this over a long sleeve t-shirt because that way this won't be on my neck. And I could even, this does flip down. So I could flip this down, which would have less contact with my skin, and I can wear a long sleeve t-shirt underneath it, probably like a black shirt or something. Let's see. And I think that will be really nice. So that's what we're working with. And just so you guys know, I don't think I shared it on here. I did get my first ball winder, yarn winder, cake winder, whatever it's called, yarn winder to make cakes. And so I'll show you guys my first cake. I don't think it's the first one, but it's one of the first ones that I've made of the Noro. I've never owned a yarn winder, so it was the end of the year and I was making purchases for the business, and at this point it makes sense to get one because I'm buying all these different yarns and I've never had one. So I did go with the Stanwood, and so far nothing but good things to say about it. I got the 10-ounce yarn winder from Stanwood, and I got the Stanwood Swift. So far it's been really cool to have one. Like I said, I've never used one before, but it makes really pretty little cakes. I even made a cake using 2 strands of yarn held together, which I realized will be really great for me because if I buy a size 5 yarn with the intention to hold it together, I can go ahead and cake it up together, and then I'm not having 2 balls of yarn going everywhere. But you can see these 2 strands from the center. This is a discontinued yarn. It's Lion brand softball, the acrylic version of their softball yarn that they stopped making, but it had a lot of really pretty colors. So yeah, at some point I'll get to use this. I had a goal for it last year, and I got almost all the way through the body of a cardigan and I hated it. So it is still halfway finished sitting in the closet. So I need to frog it and create something else because it was not, didn't like it at all. So, but that's part of the process, it's part of the design process. That's not the only one that has happened that way. And it's never fun, but you got to try, you'll never know unless you try. So, okay, let's see. All right. So one of my other goals for 2022 was to expand my tarot card collection for sticker designs. So if you guys have been following me, you know about my tarot stickers, and I'm going to show those to you in case you haven't. So let's see if I can get behind I got drawers back behind the, I should have gotten these out before. Let's see. So I have 3 cards in the collection. Now, they're not actually tarot cards. If I make enough, I think it would be kind of cool to make a deck. But right now it's just stickers. But I started, the very first one was the hooker. So that was my very first tarot inspired design. And then next step was the knitter. And then last but not least so far is the seamstress. So my goal was to focus on the fiber arts. So not just crafts in general, but the fiber arts. So weaving, spinning, dyeing, and things like that are also ideas that I have in my head. But I try really hard not to force myself to create new tarot designs because it is a long process for me because it doesn't come naturally to me, drawing and creating those kinds of things. I really have to work at it. And so it takes me a long time to get to these finished designs. And there are times when I'll get halfway through a design and I'll hate it and I'll erase it. A lot like the crochet design process. So I felt really inspired to go ahead and create my 4th design, and I just finished it yesterday. So I'm going to share that with you. If it'll work, I'm going to have to show it to you on the iPad because I don't have a physical version of it yet. I'm going to order the stickers today. So I'm really excited to have these new stickers coming. Let's see. So I use Procreate for anyone who has wondered about that process. That was something new last year, and that really launched my stickers and apparel design because all of it is created using Procreate, Canva, and Adobe Capture. Adobe Capture is what allows me to take my original drawings and turn them into smoother vectors. And those are what I use to then color. So at least now I've got a process where I design the outline, turn it into a vector, clean up the lines, make them a little smoother, put it back into Procreate, and then I color it like a coloring book. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'll show you guys the outline first. Okay. Whoop. Dang it. Struggling here, sorry. Okay, so this is the outline called the Collector. So this is like Yarn Collector, but that is the newest design. And then the next step was to color it in and to decide. That's also really difficult for me. Deciding on colors is not easy for me. It doesn't come naturally. And so usually I really wanted to try and stick with more traditional tarot card colors because that helps me if I have kind of a color palette. So I went online, I was researching like traditional tarots, and I pulled some of that color inspiration as well as inspiration from my last set of stickers because I want them all to look like a nice little collection. So I will show you guys. See if I can find it. Oh, here we go. It's a different one because I had to insert it. All right, I have 2 color options. Okay, there is the first one. And then the second one is a different skin tone. So for my newest stickers, I have been making it a point to go ahead and design 2 different skin tone options because I have had a lot of people ask me if I'm going to do that with my designs. And so that's a big part of my initial design process now is offering different skin tones up front immediately and not as an afterthought. Right now, the only stickers that I have out, I have my apparel designs. The Knitter Tarot has 2 skin tone options, and then let's see, my hooked design. Let's see if I can get this out of here. Oh gosh, it's stuck. There we go. So these are my hooked stickers that are in my Etsy shop and also on Bonfire. But I had a lot of people who commented after I released these and asked if I was going to offer more skin tone options in my original hooker design. So this one. And so that was on my list for 2022. And those stickers have shipped out and are headed to me. And I'll be able to add them to the Etsy shop in 2022. So I'm really excited to be able to do that. That was an interesting process because the funny story about this design, if you have a sticker and you also have one of my shirts, you will notice subtle differences because when I created the hooker tarot card sticker, I was not as adept on Procreate, and there were a lot of things that I did that did not allow me to easily change it up in any way. And then the iPad broke and we had to send it in to get it fixed, and I lost all of my original files that were editable. So I have original files in my computer from when I saved it for the first time. But if you'll also notice the difference between these two in the border is a lot more of a clean line on the seamstress, which is what I'm going for now, than on the hooker. But if you have the hooker t-shirt, the line is like the seamstress. So there was a progression to that design. And now my original designs are much more editable. I have a lot more files. Learning how to use Adobe Capture helped a lot with that, creating a vector outline design. So it's been a big progression over 2021. So 2022, now it's like, oh, I just have to do all of this ahead of time, and then it makes everything easier. So that's really helpful. All right, let me make sure I haven't missed anything. Terry, let me know if everything's okay, that everything looks good. It says, okay, never mind, I get it. So I'm hoping that that all makes sense. Sarah, looks lovely. Can't wait to see how it looks when it's finished. I can't either. I'm really excited. The sleeves are a little bit shorter on this cardigan, and then she uses slip stitches, I believe, I'm sure it is, to sew up the trim under here so you can actually see it, and you can use a different color, and I think that's really cool. Stanwood is the best. Love Noro. Yeah, and like I said, I haven't had any issues with the Stanwood so far. I'm really enjoying getting to use it. Like I said, I've never had a yarn winder, so it's been really fun to play around with and learn how to use. And the Swift. So having the Swift and actually winding from the Swift has been really, really neat. Let's see. Collector is really cool and love the hooked stickers. Yes, thank you guys. I appreciate it. So my goal for 2022 is, with the sticker designs, is to just allow myself to not feel pressured to pump designs out. I have a lot of great designs that are already out on my Bonfire shop and my Etsy shop, and so I want to be able to focus a little bit more on new things and trying out new things. So all right, so some of my goals, because I think this was what I wanted to talk about a little bit, and I would love to hear if you guys have goals for 2022, whether that's a project that you want to finish, a project you want to start, some new creative venture. If there's something maybe you want to learn how to paint, I don't know, but let me know if you have any, or if you got something for Christmas that is like a kit or something new for you to try that's like an artsy or craftsy kind of thing. I would love to hear what you guys plan to try this year. I know for me, when it comes to new things, so some of the new things that I'm itching to try in 2022, and I'm glad that I have the whole year, because there are some things that, like, I don't have any of the materials to start or try this, but I want to try it this year. So it may be in a couple of months, it may be next month, I don't know. It's whenever I decide to pull the trigger to try it. But as you guys probably know, we sell a lot of printed merchandise through third-party vendors. So Bonfire sells all of my apparel, and then I have a lot of mugs on Etsy. And then obviously I use Sticker Mule to do keychains and stickers. And then I also have an enamel pin provider that I really like, and I just ordered a bunch of new enamel pins. This year, once the pins get here, I will have all 3 of my current tarot card designs as enamel pins, because I sold out of my hooker tarot card pins right before Christmas. And then I will also have my F off I'm crocheting design as an enamel pin. So very excited. That's going to be new for 2022. They have not shipped yet. They're still in production, but I've already paid for them. So they will be coming soon, and I'm really excited to be able to share those with you guys. What was I going to say? Oh, so the things that I want to try are figuring out ways to do some kind of printing in-house. So that probably means like buying a Cricut. So I'm looking at either buying a Cricut or one of the other vinyl cutters. to start doing some of that printing in-house, because I feel like I'd have a lot of fun with it. I feel like I would be able to offer a lot more designs that simple designs. If I come up with something that's just random and silly and simple and want to stick it on a tote bag, but not have to go through this whole big process of designing it online and launching it in my shop on Bonfire and dealing with, you know, having to wait a long time to receive the items, because it does take longer on Bonfire. And it'll be a little bit less expensive for me because I can go out and buy like canvas bags on Amazon and then print them at home and ship them out. Let's see. Terry, I was just about to say you need to learn sublimation to create your own merchandise. And who have you gone to for pin production? So for pin production, I used a company called Signature Pins. Shoot me a message if you are in my Facebook group or if you are on Instagram. I think that I can go on and find, I may have a discount code that I can send you, because I used a discount code from someone else who used Signature Pins, and that helped with my first order because they are pricey. Enamel pins are not something that you can really jump into immediately unless you really have the money to make those initial purchases. It took me a little while before I started offering enamel pins, and I did it very small. I started just with my hooker pins. Once those sold out, that's when I reinvested and bought 4 different designs all at once. But if you can do that, they'll usually give you pretty good deals. Crafty Chats Cafe is dying to add cross stitch to the list. Now, that's something I've never wanted to do. I think it's really cool. But there are things, like I think we all have those things where we love looking at it on like Instagram. I love looking at those like funny needlepoint designs, but I've never wanted to do it. So there's like that really pretty, love looking at it, don't really want to attempt it myself kind of thing. But that's awesome. And let me know if you do. Because I feel like with cross stitch, there's probably a lot of kits out there that would make it really easy to start out. You can find something that's really small and work from there and have the instructions and all the materials. I think if someone doesn't sell cross stitch kits, they probably should, because I feel like that would be very lucrative to do that. Let's see. Start with a sublimation printer, then the Cricut, since you've already designed the design. That's interesting, Terry. I have not heard of a sublimation printer, and I'm typing it in right now because, well, those are more expensive than Cricuts. So that's why I figured a Cricut might be better. I think because I want something that'll do vinyl. I figured I would just do vinyl, and because I don't feel like I would do my colorful designs. I would do just like my outline designs or text designs and things like that. Because I have a lot of outline designs already on Bonfire that are just a simple black outline. And I was like, I could do that myself, and that would allow me to buy a whole bunch of different stuff. So if I wanted to go hit the clearance rack at Old Navy for t-shirts, I could do that, or tank tops or something. I had a friend, well, I say a friend, she tattooed the captain, one of his older tattoos, but I followed her on Instagram, and she had all these really cool designs, and that's what she did. So she would go to like Old Navy or shops that have a lot of clearance sales, and she would buy stuff from there, and then it would just kind of be limited edition, limited run. I got this tank top in a 2X, a small, and a medium, and here's the design that I'm putting on it. And I thought that was really cool. So things like that I think would be really easy to make at home. Nancy, I really want to experience a craft show, so start stocking up. Yes, and I have a couple of blog posts on craft shows if you're interested. I did them for about 3 years. very regularly, and it's its own world. The biggest advice I have for people who want to do craft shows is to make connections locally with other crafters so that you have a little bit of, a community there. That helps you know which craft shows are best for you. Check and see if there is a local craft show Facebook group for makers. We had one in Atlanta where it was all makers and they would give each other advice on local craft shows, which was really, really cool. Um, and then the other advice is really just to pre-prepare and do your research and make sure that you have all of the odds and ends that you might need, have a checklist, because craft show season, when I would do it, my car stayed full of random stuff. It seemed random, but it was like I had to have bug spray and sunscreen and aspirin and hand cream and tissues and like towels in case it rained and tarps, and all that stuff just stayed in the car 24/7. Water bottles, snacks, like so much stuff that would stay. It would stay in the car, and it was really fun. It was a rush. It was exciting. I made pretty good money, especially from October to December. And it was fun, like we don't get out a lot. We're very much homebodies, and this is why these lives have been great for me, because I get to interact with people. And that was what craft shows were for me. So it was just enough of that time to interact with people in my community, make these connections, connect with other people on my social media, and it was really fun. And I look back on it. I don't know if I would ever do it again, because my body, I don't think my body could handle creating at that pace again. I still have 2 huge Tupperware bins full of hats and scarves and fingerless gloves that I had created for a show 2 years ago before I found out that I was going to have major surgery. And nobody wants to buy it now because I don't do well selling that stuff online. My Etsy shop now is mostly for other makers. I did list a few things this year, sold none of it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with all this stuff. I mean, I could frog the scarves and make something new. But the hats already have pom-poms attached and headbands and fingerless gloves. It's not a ton of yarn. So I don't know. I figure maybe if I found one more good craft show, I could get rid of all of this stuff. I mean, worst case scenario, at some point I could probably donate it. But I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Let's see. Oh, we got a lot of comments. Let me get back to the comments. Sarah, I have some unfinished crochet projects that I want to finish and loads of yarn to go through. I do kind of have some new ideas that involves crochet and sewing. Yeah, I have a lot of yarn to get through. I really want to start branching out to new and different yarn. So some of the yarn that I used to stockpile, I'm trying to work through and figure out what to do with it, because at this point I keep all of my finished makes, which piles up. As you can see back here, I have 2 huge cardigans piled up on the back of my chair. I have bins full of finished objects. I do think that I'm going to start giving away some of my items if I can find people who actually want them and will wear them. I don't think I'd ever sell them because I do wear those items quite a bit to do photo shoots and things. They look like they've been worn, so I don't want someone to find it on Etsy and buy it and be like, this has been worn. Well, yeah, and so maybe if I do list it for sale, it would have to be like a second sale of, these are items that I created for the pattern. They have been worn. They have been, I have had them for a while, but I think that, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But sewing, I have a sewing machine. I got it in high school. I've never really mastered it. I can do very, very simple things on there. I made like a pair of shorts one time. I used to make like pajama pants. But that's really it. I can't do anything super crazy. And honestly, it's probably time for an upgrade because like I said, I got it in high school as a gift. But it's up in like the very top of my closet now. I think it might be down here. Let me see. Oh, it's down here in one of my cabinets. I don't really have anywhere to put it in the craft room right now, but I do have one, so I have always had it as kind of something that if I ever had the time and I wanted to try to tackle it, I would learn a little bit more about how to use my sewing machine. The tricky part is finding space. Yeah, finding space for the sewing machine. Exactly. I've never had a dedicated space for my sewing machine. So at my old house, if I wanted to use it, I would get it all out, and I'd set it up on the dining room table. We don't use our dining room table much, so it's fine. It could sit out there for like a week while I was doing whatever it is that I wanted to do on and off, and then I would put it away and it would be up in the closet. In this house, I'd probably have to do the same thing. Like we have a smaller dining room with a smaller dining room table, but that's probably where that would have to go. I don't know anywhere else in the house where I'd be able to set up a sewing machine. They do make really cool little carts now. I think Dream Room or Create Room that makes the Dream Box, they have like a sewing machine caddy that like your sewing machine like fits down into, and then it raises up out of it and flips out so that you can actually have a sewing space, which is really cool, but I don't know how tall it is. So I don't know if it would fit underneath something or if it fit in like a corner of your house or something like that. But those seem pretty cool if you can find something that's mobile that would like hide your machine, but you wouldn't have all of this drama trying to get it unloaded. It's a pipe dream, but always curious. Kits, it was crafty chats. What were we talking about? Pin production, yes. It's a good dream to have, and you should always have it. Keep it there. I think that's with all the goals. Don't ever, if you don't reach a goal by the time that you think you should have, don't let it just slip away. Like keep it there in your head, keep it percolating, because you never know when you're going to have that moment where you're like, it's time to just do it. And that's fine. It doesn't have to happen immediately. Just like with all of my ideas, getting a Cricut. Another thing that I really want to try is block printing, where you get the rubber block and you carve out your design, and then you roll the ink on it and press it. So like then you do the block print. I've always wanted to do that. Still hasn't happened, but it's still there. I've saved all the materials I need in my Amazon cart for later, you know. Lino print, yeah, whichever it is, because I think it's just printing with, you know, but I would want to use the rubber versus like the wood. I don't want to do the wood cuts, so I would use the rubber cuts. But yes, I want to try that. I think that'd be really cool, especially for the tarot card designs. I think it would give it that really cool aura there about it. Lino as in lino print. Yes, if that's what that is, then yes. Let's see. I'm not out of the screen looking over here. Okay. Kits with the tarot designs would be fun, perhaps for cross stitch. I did have someone ask me in a Facebook group if they could turn my tarot card designs into a cross stitch. So I'm going to have to get together with them and see what that would mean, because I do think that would be really cool. But I have to be really careful in releasing my design for someone else to create a kit and making sure that that doesn't turn into me losing out on any of the profit from those kits. So that would be a tricky situation. It would almost have to be a buyout of, I'm going to give you permission to utilize this to sell these kits, or to sell these patterns or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to look into that. We'll have to see what happens with that. But it's really interesting. I think that's really cool. Cross stitch is a huge market. I find people who don't knit or crochet cross stitch. Yes, and I've seen that too, and it's super cool. Research sublimation process first via videos and then the Cricut. That'll help you decide. Okay, I'll definitely do that, Terry. I have it pulled up for sublimation. And I have a lot to learn, but I want to make sure I do the right thing, because I think that would be really cool. Someone gives you a tattoo, well, they're a friend for life. Do you have a brother who streams online? I do not. Definitely don't have a brother. Aspirin is always an essential. Yes, I remember the first time that I got a headache at a show and I didn't have aspirin. it was a really bad time. It was really bad because it was like the whole rest of the show that night was left and I could not kick a headache. I think someone did end up having a Tylenol, but I had to go to like every single vendor and ask. Homeless shelters, maybe. Yes, that would, I mean, if I was going to donate, I would definitely want to find somewhere. I wouldn't just drop them off at Goodwill, you know. I mean, I would try to find somewhere that really needs everything. Crafty chats. I'm a mod for Reggie at J-Hook. Let me know if you need one for here. Possibly. I haven't had too many issues. And I don't really know how that works. So if you are, if you're on Instagram or if you're in my Facebook group, send me a message. I don't think you can message me on here, but send me a message somewhere and let me know because I may look into that. I've had very few issues, but I know that could only get worse if I have more people watching and might need a moderator. Hello, Sindra. Welcome, welcome. Crafty chats, I would buy that cross-stitch pattern. Yes, be very careful about pattern release to third parties. Might be better to investigate cross-stitch pattern production for yourself. Very true. And that's kind of where I'm at. When I released the original Hooker Tarot card design, I don't really even know how it happened, but it got stolen by a ton of sketchy websites. I even now, every couple of months, I have to do a search on Etsy for Hooker Tarot because people will steal my design and stick it onto t-shirts, and I will have to send them messages with cease and desist and takedown messages and go through the Etsy process of having those listings removed. So I'm very, very, I hold on to those designs pretty tight. I've had people who want to get like a tattoo release, so that's something that I'm looking into right now. But even with that, they're not going to ever receive a digital file. No one, I won't ever sell digital files of my designs because I feel like that's just asking for trouble. There have been people who've asked for SVG files for personal use. I don't think it'll ever happen. I just feel like it takes me so long to create the designs that it would be too easy for someone to start selling them, you know, and I'm asking for that if I'm giving people the file, you know. And it's the same with our hooks. You know, we have people asking about the STL files, the print files for our 3D printed crochet hooks. If you guys are new and you haven't seen them, this is what one of them looks like. This is one of our really big ones, the 20 millimeter in, this is the glitter pink that was released in November of this last year. People asked for those files to print them themselves. And, you know, I think the biggest reason that we say no is because we spent a lot of time learning the software to actually create that design. And it took me a lot of work to do that because that is not my thing. I am not an analytical thinker. I never did well on those tests with like the analytical and, you know, 3D modeling and things like that. It was never my strong point. So I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos to learn how to use the software. And then I had to use just basic shapes to put together and create those hooks. And so I feel like if someone really wants to 3D print hooks, they can learn to use that software. If I can do it, anybody can. So it's free software. So I use Tinkercad. Tinkercad is a web-based software, but you use basic shapes to create 3D printed items, and then you export the file and you print them. So, you know, if you want to make that time investment, you could create even a different shape of hook. You know, there's no reason for any of us to do exactly what someone else has done. We can get creative and, you know, do something that's unique. And I think that's much more, what's the word? I'm losing all of my words today. Gratifying. It's much more gratifying when you put in the time and you create something yourself. than just finding the file. Now, and again, in some cases, that's what people want to do. I know words are hard. Yeah. There are a lot of websites out there like Thingiverse, where you can go and find lots of free files. There are free crochet hook files on Thingiverse that you can download now and print if you have a 3D printer. But we wanted to up the game and do something different, you know. So I think that's yeah. I don't think we'll ever sell our files. Okay, I think I'm up to date on all of this. So, talking about New Year's resolutions, I talked about I wanted to learn how to use either a Cricut or some kind of vinyl cutter, and I want to learn how to do wood printing. I want to, oh, the last thing that I want to do that is not something totally new is this year when I create my patterns. I don't know why this isn't focused. It'll focus. There we go. With my pattern writing this year, before I had this, you know, big stash of yarn that was all very similar, a lot of like Woolies Thick and Quick. And this year I really want to allow myself to branch out and try different yarn and kind of allow the yarn to dictate what I create with it, which is different from before where I had an idea in mind and I just used whatever yarn I had on hand. So it's almost creating items for that yarn. And I do have some yarn to show you guys. I got a shipment today from Lion Brand. I've got a few more minutes, so I have time to show you guys that I'm going to unbox. And I did get some yarn from Annie's. I shared it in my Facebook group, but I will share it with you guys too here if I can find it. Ah, here we go. Let me get some of these different colors. So there is a yarn that they discontinued that I found on Annie's for $2.99 a skein, originally like $5. These are cakes, not skeins. It is called Dream Maker. Dream Maker. If you watched my Instagram video on Tuesday, you have already seen this because that's where I did the unboxing. But if you are not on there, did not watch it, I bought this yarn when it was on clearance on lionbrandyarn.com. And I knew it was being discontinued, but I thought it was really cool because it was the only thing that I had seen that was extremely comparable to the Burnout Maker. So this stuff, because this is a size 5, it is a acrylic nylon blend instead of a cotton nylon blend. But it's that same kind of structure to the yarn and everything. So I really wanted to try it because the colors were really cool. So I bought some. I used it to make two crop tops because, again, that's what I love, using this for crop tops and like bralettes and stuff to wear around the house and to wear during the summer. And I really liked it. So found this and I had to buy every color that they had because I knew that I would use it. So this is one of the first colors. And you get 109 yards from this. And like I said, they're $2.99 a piece. So I got two acrylic and nylon. Isn't that? Yes, it's acrylic and nylon. It is like plastic on plastic. You're right. But you know, there aren't a lot of options when it comes to this kind of yarn, so I like to try it. And it's actually pretty soft. It's very machine washable. I feel like my issue with plastics is single-use plastics. And so with this, I wear these. I'm going to wear these until they run holes in them. And I wash them every couple of days and they last a really long time. So that's my goal with these is, you know, to use it for something that I'm going to wear for a really long time. Let's see. Here's two more. These two. And the last two colors are these two. And no, I did not know that when when I go past an hour, it cuts off and goes to a black screen. No, no judge at all. I'm just curious why they bother doing a combination. I've never been able to tell the difference between the two. Yeah, so I think that the nylon gives it the extra stretch, whereas the acrylic does not. So the one I'm wearing now, this is that stuff, and it has a bit of stretch to it, which is nice because when I go to wash it in the washing machine, if it has stretched out at all, when I've been wearing it, when I put it in the dryer, it kind of cinches back to where I wanted it, and I can wear it again, and it'll maybe stretch out a little, and I'll put it back in there, and it'll come back down. So that's super helpful. But yeah, those are the ones. So the last thing I want to do today is show you guys the new yarn that I got, because I got this, this past week, but this is new today. It is from Lion Brand. And it's a yarn I have not tried yet, and I've been wanting to because the colors were so pretty. And I also got the yarn that I'm probably going to use for my crochet along video for the Luna, because I'm going to be making my stepmom a Luna cardigan for her birthday or something at some point. I wanted to make it for Christmas, but I didn't have time. So I'll show you guys the yarn that I got for her cardigan, and I'm going to be holding it double. So this is the just homespun yarn. So you can see homespun. And I'm going to be holding that double to make a Luna cardigan. So that may be what I do for my kind of crochet along style video, because I think that would be nice, and I need to make it anyway, so I might as well film it. So I think that could be pretty cool. Let's see. Okay, so the new yarn, super excited about this. It is Lion Brand yarn, the Luxe Jumbo. So that is what we are working with. This is a size 7 yarn. I am super, super excited about it because of the colors, and because I am trying to branch out and use more size 7 yarn, because there's not a lot of patterns out there for it that are wearables. So if you guys have not already seen my size 7 cardigan that will be coming out in the next couple of months, I'll show you guys. So this is in testing. This is my Winky Jacket. This is 2 strands of size 6 held together. So it's not quite a size 7. Usually if you combine 2 5s, it'll equal a 6. But 2 6s don't always equal a 7. And we found that out because some of the testers tried to use a size 7 for this. Didn't work out so well. This is 2 strands of burlap blanket yarn held together and a size 20 millimeter hook. This one has a couple more weeks in testing before it's ready to be released. But I'm really excited about this one. I think this is a really fun one. And then the size 7, this is using Mainstays Chanel Chunky yarn from Walmart. And this is size 7 Chanel. So you can see I did a little collar, because I've done a lot of hooded items and I wanted a collar on this one. And then I did hoodie style pockets on either side that I just sewed the pocket on after it was over. But it is a super, super puffy jacket, and I love it so much. And I'm excited to make at least one more wearable item using super bulky or jumbo style yarn, so size 7. So I'll show you guys. This is, like I said, this is the first color that I got. And then I also got pink. So we got pink and purple. We've got bright green. And we've got gold. And we've got orange. So all these beautiful, crazy bright colors. That is my goal, to make some. I may even make another one of these jackets. You know, unless I can figure out an entirely different style of jacket to make with this, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. But I may just make another jacket like this, just to show the versatility of the different yarns that you can use to make this jacket. Because I have not seen a jacket, a crocheted cardigan or jacket using a size 7 out there. So I really wanted to have something that was unique out there in the pattern world for the jumbo style yarn. But it's super fluffy. So let's see. Why do so many people dislike homespun? I struggle to use homespun single-stranded. If I double it up and I use a bigger hook, so if I make a Luna, it's double-stranded homespun using a 15 millimeter hook. It was so easy. I actually do have one. Show you guys. This is my homespun Luna. This was all of my scraps of homespun that I had gathered up over the years, and I decided to try to make a cardigan. So this is double-stranded homespun with a 15 millimeter hook. Super soft, and it was actually quite easy to work with once I doubled it up. So very nice. 2 strands of 6, you have good hands. Mine would give up. So I use the hooks that we create. Our 3D printed hooks are extremely light, which helps with that. That was my goal, to make these, because all of the hooks that I was buying at stores or online were so heavy or really long. Our hooks are about half the weight, if not even lighter than most of the hooks that you're going to find at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And that was my goal, because I use them all the time. Like I said, this is a 20 millimeter, which is what I used for the Winky Jacket, which was the 2 strands of burlap blanket. And then the super bulky, the jumbo cardigan, that one I used a 25 millimeter. And again, ours are just a lot lighter than the ones that are out, which definitely help. I still have to take breaks. I do my wrist stretches. I only do a little bit at a time. You know, I give myself breaks. But it definitely helps to have the lighter hooks. When did you swap knitting for crochet? I learned both at the same time, and I did them both at the same time for a long time. But crochet was just always a little easier for me. And I think the big switch came when I started designing, because I never felt comfortable enough to design a knitting pattern. And I felt like crochet gave me a lot more freedom in creating shapes and feeling confident in designing. And so now that I just design, there's really not a big reason for me to knit unless I'm just knitting something for myself. And that's really why I crochet pretty much exclusively now. Good Lord of 15. Yeah, 15 millimeter is my go-to size. That's the hook size that I use. The majority of my patterns call for a 15. If it's a cardigan, this is a 15 millimeter. I have a favorite. Let's see if it's over here. I know it's over here somewhere. Here we go. So this was a hook stand that we made a while back. Those are still in beta, but this was my go-to hook before we started 3D printing. I found it at Hobby Lobby years ago. It's a little weighty, but it was my go-to because it had a little bit of ergonomic shape, and I used it for a ton of different things. So now this is my go-to 15. This was one of our unicorn hooks that we released a while back, and I had to keep one for myself because they were so pretty. And it has the little glitter going on. But yeah, that's my go-to. That's my go-to size. My wrist would die. I'm telling you, it's super helpful having the lighter weight hooks. Ellen says that our lightweight hooks really help keep your hands from getting tired. Yes, and switching to knife hold with bulky, you almost have to, because the hooks are so big, trying to use it pencil grip. Like this is one of our 11 millimeter hooks, And there are people who still hold these pencil grip because of the ergonomic handle. You can hold like a pencil right here and you can still do that. But as they get bulkier, you almost need to do knife grip and start making sure that you have the ability to do both to give yourself a break. And I used to do that. If I'm using like a 10 millimeter, I can switch back and forth between knife grip and pencil grip, and that gives my wrist a break. So that can be very helpful. Currently working with DK held double and a 7 millimeter Knit Picks Pro hook. It's not bad, just not great. Yes, and all of ours are inline. That's really more of because of how they have to print and how they have to be supported during the print process. But I actually prefer them over, now that that's what I use, and since we've been able to create them the way that we want them to be, I don't like to use any other hooks. I will tell you guys a secret. I don't know if this is actually something that's going to happen, but we have been trying to play around with hooks that are smaller than a 10 millimeter. We have someone who's bought a lot of hooks from us who is going to test some of these sizes out to make sure that they are strong enough to actually be used. Because we've always worried, because they are plastic, you know, I mean, no matter what you say, these are plastic hooks. They are handmade, you know, this is not, we do this in our basement, you know, so, and, you know, we don't ever tell people, like, you don't want to use these for like an amigurumi project. Just like you wouldn't want to use a hand-turned wooden hook for a project that's going to cause a lot of torque on the hook, you would probably break it. But as long as you're doing something regular, like all of my cardigans and all of my patterns, I use my own hooks to create them, but none of them require me to do stitching that is super, super, super tight. And again, I don't know why this isn't focusing. There we go. So I'll show you guys. This is our adventure into teeny tiny hooks. This is an 8 millimeter, you can see, and I'll compare that to the 11. So there's our, well, there we go. Yep. Same style, same height, but that little bitty neck. So we're going to see. We've never been against making smaller hooks. I don't really use them as much, but we have a lot of people who are now collecting our hooks and would like to have a smaller option. So we're trying it out and we'll see what happens, but we don't want to put it out there unless we feel like they're going to stand up to regular use. Basement / cottage industry of the future. Exactly. We're building our own jumbo hook empire in the basement. But it's been so much fun. It's been really fun and we get to share it with everybody. So that's great. But it's definitely been a fun adventure for us. So I have 2 things I want to share with you guys before I go, and I am going to have to go because it's already way over time. I have a new design that's going to be releasing in January. I haven't shared it anywhere but in my Discord group, which is for all of my testers. But I'm going to share it with you here. Let's see if I can find it first. Here we go. Okay, I already ordered some stickers with the design on it, but I will be releasing this design on mugs and t-shirts and stickers and all that fun stuff this month. That's the goal. I'm hoping that I can release it this month because I kind of wanted to go with a play on New Year's resolutions. And I know there's a lot of people out there, at least it was always for me, I always gain weight around the holidays. And so New Year's is the time for me to like, okay, I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to eat a little better. I'm going to drink some more water. I'm going to get a little more active, you know? So a lot of people talk about their diet. They may try a new diet or they may just change things out. Like for me, I just try to cut out a little bit of sugar and that usually helps me feel better after eating all of the crazy holiday goodies. So this sticker and this design that I'm going to be releasing in January this month is called High Fiber Diet. And that is the holographic version of the design. And so please know that I am not trying to tell people they need to go on a diet. What this means is we all have a diet that we, like my diet means I have a little less sugar, and some people have dietary restrictions. I hope you know that I am not the type of person who's like, you go on a diet. No, just means more fiber. Put more fiber in diet. Yarn. So this is going to be releasing very soon. I'm really excited about it. I actually came up with this design last year and was just waiting for the right opportunity to release it. I try to give my designs a little bit of breathing room. I think the last design that I released was Yarny and Anxious, which was right before the holidays. And that was this one. So this one is already in my bonfire shop. It's on my Etsy shop. I've got mugs, stickers, shirts, V-neck shirts, hoodies, jackets, all that fun stuff. And I really like to release a new design every like 2 months. I think is a nice, I think once a month can feel like a little much for me to try to like feel like I'm pumping out the designs. But that was the last one that I released on all the different merchandise. And then High Fiber Diet will be January. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a fun one. I did a pre-order for some of my testers, so I'll be able to have them help me on launch day when we release. I have a new product that's going to be releasing. They started offering a new style of hoodie on Bonfire, and I ordered one so I can kind of give you guys a review of what it's like and how it's different from just the standard hoodie, because I don't know. I've not ordered one yet. This will be my first one, so I'm excited about that. And you're preaching to a crochet/knit community. Generally, we can be found in the same spot for hours. Exactly. Like I said, it is what it is. And I'm never shaming anyone for anything that they eat or don't eat or exercise or don't exercise. It is what it is. I just thought it was a cute design. And I'm very excited about releasing it. So, and if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. It's okay. Not everything is for everybody. Yes. So the last thing I want to show you guys, is our hooks. So, and let me know if you want to see. I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek, if you want, of the hooks that we are going to be releasing this January. So we haven't released new hooks since the hot pink ones in November, because we did not have time to release any in December. But we are going to do a release in January, which will be the first hook release of 2022. It's a new color that we have not used. It is also going to be our first public release with mica powder in the resin. So our Christmas mystery boxes were the first hooks that we released that had mica powder. We have not done like a public release. These had white mica powder, which gave them so much more depth, because if you look on here, it's probably just going to look like a white hook with some blue glitter. But if you are in person, there is so much white shine that it gives it a lot more depth. And we're really excited to get to work with more mica powder in the new year, because we think it'll give our hooks even more of that wow factor. And we're really excited about that. So I did decide that, Ellen said, I love my Christmas hook. It's beautiful. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys did. That was all Matt. That was the captain. He was really excited about those Christmas hooks. He wanted it to be like Winter Wonderland, snowflake kind of thing. But yeah, let's go downstairs real quick before I log off. And I will show you guys the new hooks. We'll take you on a trip. So if you've never seen where we do our 3D printing, then you will see now. Let's go look. Market them as Frozen themed. There you go. All right, don't want to fall down the stairs. It's got a handle. Okay. All right, if you guys have not seen this space before, here, I'll come over here so you guys can kind of get a look. He's got some cool tapestries that he's hung on the wall, but this is our print space. So you can see we've got the printers back here. And this is also where we do all of our resin coating for our hooks. Yeah, so we've got all the filament back there, We've got lots of stuff in the cabinets, mica powder, glitter, resin, gloves, everything we need. And I am actually going to take these back upstairs so you guys can see them in the light, because you're not going to see them as good up here, down here. Okay, let's go back upstairs. Yeah, but that's our print space. Very functional. Oh yeah, so we use resin that is no VOC, so we don't have that issue, which is great. Okay, let me set you guys down right here. I'm gonna lift this up and show you guys these hooks. So as you know, I do like Harry Potter type themes for a lot of my, like this is the Luna cardigan, I've got the Ginny cardigan, but I haven't done a hook release that is like an homage to Harry Potter. And I do have some people that want me to try to do house themed hooks. So like the different Harry Potter houses and do a color theme. But I decided that this year our first release was going to be a little bit of a throwback to the books. And I think they say it in the movies too, but it's the password to Dumbledore's office. So you may or may not know, sherbet lemon. So these hooks are a base color of a very light sorbet / sherbet orange. So you can see that is the base color. This is our 25 millimeter. And if you turn it, we have used, and you're not going to really, again, you can't do justice to these with photos, but we used a gold and lemon colored mica powder. I'm trying to get in the light at least so you can kind of see. But it's gold and lemon are the mica powders that we used. And then we also used gold holographic glitter and light fluorescent yellow glitter. So really, really fun. And like I said, these in person, there is so much shine underneath the glitter, and I can usually get a good photo. So I'm going to take all of my pictures and I'll get nice and close and try to showcase even more of that shine. And then I'll show you, that's the 25. This one is a 16 millimeter. So you can see the stamp. We have stamps on the bottoms of all of our hooks. And this is the 16 millimeter. There you go. I got the window right in front of me. I was hoping that would help a little bit. There you go. But yeah, these, we have our full run of these hooks. We did, I think 4 each of the 10, 11, and 12, because those tend to sell the fastest. And then we have, I think we have two each of the 14, 15, 16, and then 1 each, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25. So that will be the release for these. I'm excited about them. I think they're really pretty, and they're different from everything else that we have right now in the shop, because most of what's left in the Etsy shop right now are blues, pinks, and purples. That's pretty much it. So it'll be nice to add an orange, and we are working on a couple of new colors this year that are going to be outside of that like pretty unicorn mermaid range. You know, we want to do more of like the candy apple red or a bright yellow, you know, things that are in a different color sphere than what we had been releasing last year, which was more of the pinks and the purples and the, you know, unicorn vomit, you know, that kind of stuff. So we're trying to release some new hooks for people who maybe have different color design aesthetics. We do have some black hooks still in the shop, and I reduced the price of some of our very old, I think it's the oldest hooks we have in the shop. These were a silver blue mix. So you can see it's like a silvery blue silk mix. I think that these are now $35 in the shop. So if you've been wanting to just try one of our hooks for the first time to see how it works and how it feels, I've got an 18 and I've got a 17. Of course it doesn't want to show, but that's upside down. 17. So I think these two are now 35 because they've hung around for a long time and they just haven't gotten purchased. But these are some of the older ones that we have. But even here you can see it's a lot of pink, purple, and blue. And then we do have some plain black ones that I think are 40 instead of 45. They're just super plain. They're just black with clear filament. There's no, or clear resin. There's no glitter or anything. And neither of those blue ones have glitter either. But those are some of the very basic ones that we've got in the shop right now that are less expensive than their $45 counterparts. And as hooks get older, I do try to decrease the price a little bit. So, you know, that way we have a little bit more, a few more options in the shop as the hooks get older. So, okay, well, that's it. I'm over time by a lot, but I had a lot I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you so much for joining in today. Be sure to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you would like. I go live on YouTube every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Central Time, usually for about an hour. And then I go live on Fridays on my Instagram channel. So I'm on Instagram, I'm at Pink Sheep Design. And then you can also search Pink Sheep Design on Facebook, and I have a Facebook group. So that's a nice place for me to share with you guys and have a different space to interact than just on Instagram or on YouTube. But I'm so thankful for all of you for joining in and watching, and for anyone watching the replay, thank you so much. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. Happy hooking!